Are you interested in turning your boring clean amp into a thick wall of snarling American-flavoured distortion? Well, the Tone City Holy Aura could be the answer to your prayers. Now, this is a dual-sided overdrive distortion and boost pedal. It's made by Tone City, so you can be assured that it's going to be very much an affordable proposition. And well, it should take your clean amp and turn it into a behemoth of high-gain tonal goodness. And what we're going to do in this video is find out whether or not that's true. I'll play this for you in as many different musical styles as I can possibly imagine, with single coil and with humbucking pickups as well. And I'll tell you a few of my opinions about the Holy Aura, having played it quite a lot in the few weeks I've had it since Tone City sent it to me, and whether or not it's going to be worth your hard-earned cash at the end of the day. So we'll start by telling you all you need to know about the Holy Aura then. Now, this is, as Tone City say, an American-flavoured high-gain overdrive distortion pedal. And that means that we're going to be more in the ballpark of something like a MESA Boogie or a Soldano, maybe even a 5150, compared to something rawer and crunchier and more mid-focused like a Marshall or a pushed Vox or something like that. So if you like your American sounds, this could be the pedal for you. Now, like I said in the intro, we've got two sides to it, a boost and the overdrive / distortion. The boost is activated by this side here, and the boost only has one knob to control it. That's this solitary one here. And the other 7 knobs are all going to be dedicated to tweaking and sculpting our drive tones with the drive side of the pedal. So to do that, you've got a 3-band EQ, bass, middle and treble. You've got a volume control, a gain control, and we've got 2 mini knobs here as well. A presence, which is going to be altering the upper, mid and high frequencies in the tone, and a tight control as well. And the more we turn up the tight switch, the tighter our tonal response is going to become. So if you're looking for fast, chuggy metal action or fast palm muted power chords for pop punk and stuff like that, you're going to want to turn up the tightness knob to get that fast response. And you're going to want to turn it down again if you want to have a saggier sort of tone, more reminiscent of classic metal, glam, and so on and so on. Now, on the top of the pedal, you've got your in and your out jack. You power it via a standard 9-volt power supply, and that's pretty much it. It's not too complex an affair otherwise. This being Tone City, it's going to be affordable as well, about 110 euros or dollars at time of filming, or even less in Great British pounds. So pretty much everyone watching this is going to be able to afford the Holy Aura, no problem. But is it worth it? That's what we're going to find out, because it's time to put this to a listening test. Now, like I said, I've got my Fender Telecaster and my Epiphone Les Paul to play the riffs today, and we're going to play in as many different musical styles as I can possibly manage. Now, Tone City says that with the boost and the drive side of this pedal, which you can run independently or stack together, by the way, you can go from everything from a pushed clean tone all the way through to roaring high gain distortion sounds, and we're going to test all of those. Now, just be aware that my Fender Telecaster does have a neck humbucker in it, but I've got it wired for true single coil tones today. My amp today is going to be my Hughes & Kettner Black Spirit 200, and will be on a pretty neutral clean setting on the amp's clean channel for the duration of the riffs here. Once I'm done playing riffs, I'll plug in my Boss RC10 looper, and we'll run a pretty heavy loop into the front end of the Holy Aura, where I really get to tweak the knobs and bring the boost in and out, and you can really hear the extremes to which this pedal can go. So make sure you head and watch the loop if you'd like to do that. Timestamps to everything is going to be down there in the comments and the description if you'd like to skip to the parts of the music that suit you best, but come back after the riffing is done and I'll give you my opinions on the Holy Aura. Okay then, so that was the Tone City Holy Aura, and I hope you enjoyed the playing, the riffs and the tones. I would love it if you could leave me a comment down there telling me what you think of this pedal. Did you enjoy it? Could you imagine yourself adding this to your rig? Did you prefer the telly, the single coil tones, or were you more about the thickness of the Epiphone Les Paul humbuckers? Let me know your thoughts as ever, and I look forward to getting a bit of a discussion going. But now it's time for me to tell you my thoughts and opinions about the Holy Aura. Tone City sent it to me a few weeks ago to make this video with and to have some general musical fun with, and I've been doing a lot of that during the past few weeks because this is a really fun pedal, and you'll have seen in the video that as soon as you turn it on with all of the controls at 12, you get these instant thick and rich walls of heavy distortion that just sound absolutely fantastic for so many different heavy styles. If you love punk rock and alternative rock, heavy rock and metal and so on, you will really enjoy this pedal straight away. And the real magic lies in tweaking those 7 knobs to take it to places that you might not have thought would have been this pedal's forte, and it can really do a lot in terms of tones. I think my personal favorites would be the hard rock stuff that I did, and also the punk rock stuff. Upping the tightness for it really gives you great, tight, palm muted power chord goodness for Green Day or Blink-182 stuff and things like that. But this is great for classic metal as well. It's great for grunge, it's great for new metal, and so many other high gain styles. Now there is a lot of gain on tap in this pedal, and there is kind of a gap for me between where the boost ends and where the gain side kicks in. Now Tone City tell us in their blurb for this pedal that you can do everything from a clean boost to metal. Well, that's not really true, especially if you've got humbuckers. Now the boost is great for adding some thickness to your clean tone, or in the case of the Les Paul's hotter humbuckers, giving you some pretty gnarly classic rock tones as well. But switch to the gain channel with the gain all the way down and you're way heavier straight away. So there is kind of a gap there. If you're going to be wanting to play indie or maybe some lighter alternative rock with this pedal, it's possibly not going to be for you. But if you want to play any other kinds of heavy music, then this pedal is going to be for you. And I thought it responded equally well to the single coils in the Telecaster as it did to the humbuckers in the Les Paul, albeit with 2 totally different tonal flavors going on. Otherwise, what's good about the pedal? Well, it's Tone City, so I love the price. For just over $100, this is great value for money. The build quality feels really decent, really solid. I love the look of it as well. I love these kind of cupcake knobs that we've got here and this kind of mottled sort of a paint job. It's very similar to my King of Tone in that regard, and that's a much more expensive pedal, so it looks and feels like a great quality overdrive as well. What don't I like so much about the Holy Aura? Well, there are a couple of things that I personally would change if I could have the option to do that. I think the first one is going to be, it would be nice if you could have just slightly less gain at the lower thresholds of the gain knob on the gain channel, or if there was a bit more in the boost so you could kind of mix the 2 together. That would be super cool. It would also be great if you had the option to run the boost after the drive side of the pedal. You're running it always before the drive in the Holy Aura, and I know some people would appreciate the flexibility of being able to choose which side of the drive the boost is on. And when it comes to dialing in tones, well, I think everything is fantastic tonally with this pedal, but if you're afflicted with sausage finger syndrome like I am, you'll find it pretty fiddly to dial in the presence and tight knobs because they are very small. Although I do have to say, once you've found your favorite setting, it probably is going to be a case of set and forget, but getting there is quite tricky. Your mileage may vary there if you have slimmer fingers than me. Otherwise, something else I would change about the boost if I could, seeing as we're talking about the boost. This is a clean boost, and I've heard that it can give you up to 20 decibels of added clean boost, but I know that many players love to boost their American flavored amps with a Tube Screamer or a Boss SD1. So if the boost side was actually one of those, a Tube Screamer or an SD1 circuit, that would give us an even more metal player's dream of a pedal. Although of course you could just get your own Tube Screamer independently and put that in front of the Holy Aura, and then you're good to go. But if you've been watching this video and you like what you've heard from the Holy Aura, but you're wondering what else is going to be out there for a similar sort of price point, well, you could do far worse than trying the other options from Tone City themselves. For a more Marshall flavored dual overdrive, you could try their Model M, or you could try their Big Rumble, which has this clean boost and a Dumble style of drive in it, or you could try the Danish Pete collab, the Double Durple. Video of that one there, and that is an excellent lower to medium gain double drive pedal as well. So there are many great options from Tone City themselves, or you could try something from NUX like their Ace of Tone or their Queen of Tone. Those are great affordable options in the double drive territory. Or if you want to go for a more boutique American flavored option, the Soldano SLO overdrive pedal is always going to be a fantastic choice, but that is significantly more money than a pedal like the Holy Aura. At the end of the day though, pedals like this are intensely personal, so what you really need to to do is head down to your local music store and try the Holy Aura and the other options for yourself, and I'm confident that you'll go home with the one that works best for you. And it very well may be that that pedal is the Holy Aura. I think for me the biggest plus point about this pedal is the fact that it's bucket loads of fun straight away, and despite the fact that we've got 8 different controls on it, well, with everything at 12 o'clock it just sounds fantastic, thick and fat and punchy and rich and just perfect for so many high gain styles, as you'll have heard throughout this video. So if that sounded good to you, go and give this one a try, and I think you'll probably end up liking it. And for this price and with this build quality, in that sense it's going to be something of a no-brainer. So 2 thumbs up from me for the Holy Aura then. I hope that this video has answered all of the questions that you may have had about this pedal, but if there's anything else you'd like to know, leave me a line down there in the comments and I shall do my best to answer you. And if you're still around, would really make my day if you wanted to give the video a like, or maybe even sub to my little channel, because that really does help. But that's been it for today's video. I've been Rich, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.